He's done what probably we do and try and cram in a month's worth of practice in about 3 days.
Well, it seems to be working. This would be some start. It's double 10 for an absolute beauty. Well, I think John Worley was winding me up earlier when he said he hasn't been practicing, because that's a 12-darter opener, a 140 to boot. And that is a beautiful start. Chance for Worsley.
You require 76.
Should get 1 dart at a double. He'd be hoping for 2 if he can hit the treble 20.
And this is for the match. And that was a very, very solid performance from John Worley. He was the bookies' favourite going into this match for Group A. Had my doubts, but I tell you what, there was an awful lot of positives there for John Worley. Matt Clark will be back. I think he showed enough signs to me there. There's one statistic for Matt Clark, that 2 from 12 on the outer ring to improve, but a great start from Worley. As next up, it's Neil Duff against Bram Van Dijk.
Perfect.
Now you require 88.
Yeah, this 88 was looking inviting, wasn't it? Now all of a sudden you feel it's a must-hit, but that's a stormer of a dart.
Game shot in the
Superb.
second leg.
That's the best moment for Neil Duff in this match so far.
Couple of tons. Back in the red bit. Misses the 51 for the ball. Just has to tidy up.
81.
Yeah, Sean Knight's got good character about him. I mentioned this 1-2-6 earlier. Has to start in the 19s this time. Double 6. Well, he saved his best shot right at the end in Neil Duff, because he was nowhere near his blistering best throughout that game, but that 1-2-6 finish gets him over the line. You can see the frustration on young Bram Van Dijk, but he will learn so much from that game. The stats as we look there, Bram just crept over that 80 average mark, but Neil Duff will look at the 78 average thing. I must do better, however, in the centre there. Good on the outer ring, the lovely 1-2-6 finish, and Neil Duff is up and running. As next up, we making the debut today, it's Vanderhaar against Colin Mcgarry.
Colin, you require 80.
Does anybody want to win?
Well, I pretty much had my notes down that this guy was going to run away. 4-0 or 2-0 up and cruising. Bullseye.
55.
Surely no more mistakes this time from Michelle. He is searching for this dart, and now it's tough. That's an unbelievable last start in the end. Nothing to separate them right going into that final one there, and it's Michelle Vanderhoof who gets over the winning line. You can see the relief, you can see the delight, and utter frustration there for Colin Mcgarry. He had that game in the palm of his hands, but fair play to Michelle Vanderhoof. He fought back for a good 4-2 victory, and he is up and running. And next up, we see the return of Matt Clark against Neil Duff. Clark lost that first game, as Chris alluded to. We looked really solid, and once again is back in that treble 20 bed. Doesn't get the credit he always deserves, does he?
180.
Is back-to-back maxes for Matt Clark. You surprised Neil Duff didn't go to Q school?
Absolutely. Gary Stone,
60.
Neil Duff.
56.
Yeah, Matt Clark. I think Matt Clark is absolutely loving the Modus Super Series and the opportunities he's getting here. Got an opportunity to take this opening leg and an 11-darter with tops.
Game shot. Wow.
Sweet as a nut. Beautiful Matt Clark.
Best leg of the day so far.
Needs the treble 19. One thing I will guarantee, Clark will not miss
57.
double 2.
Oh dear.
Require 4.
Don't wait, double 17, that friend or foe. Oh, he's able to use it beautifully.
In the match, Matt Clark.
Glenn Durrant gets a prediction right. Incredible. A very tidy performance. 87-74, only let down by 6 missed starts at a double to close the match out. But in terms of the scoring phase of that contest, very tidy indeed. Up next, Colin Mcgarry takes on John Worley.
Colin, you
still couldn't get a win.
156.
Perfect. Beautiful. Outstanding dart from Colin Mcgarry. That's exactly what he needed after the disappointment of the first game. It's outstanding. This 117 was looking inviting, and now really has to hit it. That's perfect. That's great.
Game
his
shot in the third leg.
finishing is
Colin
absolutely
McGarry.
fantastic in this game, and hence the wry smile there from John Worsley. It's a 1.56 and a 1.17 for McGarry. Took a leaf out the Mac Clark book there and just maybe stood back just a little second there, but Worsley's put himself in a fabulous position.
59.
And nothing at all
Johnny
McGarry can
require
do
40.
or put pressure on. This is for the match. 2 wins out the two with John Worsley. He was the bookies' favourite, and he's looking really, really good. But for Colin McGarry, he's had those opportunities in both of his first 2 games, but hasn't capitalised. That's something that he will need to sort. Great sportsmanship between the pair of them, chatting away. The numbers were great throughout that match, but John Worsley once again averages just shy of 95. Good on the outer ring. A super start for the favourite. As next up, it's an all Dutch affair. It's Bram van Dijk versus Michel Vanderhoof. Once again, the perfect setup, and a dart away from victory.
Yep, and time on his side. Needs to just squeeze one around.
45. Michel requires
his best.
32.
Double 16 to wrap it up comprehensively. 4-0. It's awkward.
No score.
Yeah, well, after that second, I just again looked at the score of Bram. But no dramas yet from Michel.
61.
There was speedy darts from young Bram and a lot of anger
32.
in those darts, but this is for the match. Michel Vanderhoof does win the Old Dutch affair there.
Michel Vanderhoof.
Very sporting as always. He'll be delighted with that victory with Michel. Plenty still to work on. In the end, it was a pretty one-sided affair for Bram. He's learning lessons as he goes along here. And that was what we call a bit of a drubbing here. With Michel Vanderhoof, he moves on to 4 points, and still plenty to go from there, but a big 4-0 victory. It's a big clash coming up next. It's Matt Clark against Colin McGarry.
Colin, you require 24.
Been cool, calm and collected, Colin. And now it's Magic McGarry, his first 2 points of the day over Matt Clark. Always a tough assignment when you're playing Matt, and he showed his skills in that game, but Colin McGarry has his first 2 points, and he was very, very good, in particular the setup play, and just got over that little benchmark of 90 average. That's super solid, lovely on their outer ring. Colin McGarry is up and running, and next up we have another big clash. It's Neil Duff against Michel Vanderhoof.
Under the lights than on the floor. That's normally the opposite.
Game shot in the second leg. Michel Vanderhoof.
Well, 180 and 110 for top of the table, Michel Vanderhoof. Keep it simple, Michel. He does that. Just assessing the situation. It's tops. And the unbeaten run for the Dutchman continues.
Michel
That is a
Vanderhoof.
seriously frustrated Neil Duff walking off the stage. He actually threw that game away, and just a little fist bump there. That's a big, big win for Michel Vanderhoof. A nice 84.4 average, that 110 finish, but it was the missed opportunities for Neil Duff, which will be the headline of that match. As we move on to the next game, it's John Worsley against Bram van Dijk.
Johnny require 160.
After that first start. And what a way to finish the game, John Worsley. His scoring power has been sensational today. Early in that match, his doubles were letting him down. And Bram van Dijk has got a smile on his face because he played his part in a very, very entertaining game. And John Worsley, who was the favourite going into this Group A, once again averages over 90, 92.75. Excellent from Bram van Dijk. 89.67 is his highest recorded average in 2023. But the highlight, the 160 finish from Worsley, he's playing mighty fine. Big, big game coming up. 2 good friends. Colin McGarry against Neil Duff.
Find the target. Neil Duff to wrap it up. 4-1 and a much needed win for Neil Duff. He's made it 2 wins so far today. He has 1 more to play. There's the numbers for you. 92.74. Very good for Neil Duff. Just the 180 in there. 4 out of 12 on the doubles in the end. But McGarry just seemed to lose his way after leg 1. When we come back, Bram van Dijk will be taking on Matt Clark. You'll have
180.
I thought he looked away there for a second. I think he was going to try it. I think Matt Clark had put him in a headlock.
Game shot the
2-2.
full flag. Matt Clark. Now you require 120.
Once again, disappointment for these two players. Has been singing out legs. But this would be a little bit special, and this would be for the match. And it's Super Darts for Superman. Matt Clark gets over the line in the end, 4-2.
We're filling it.
140. Johnny McGuire, 120.
Both on finishes. They'll both fancy.
Yeah, we've just seen the Shanghai to end the previous game for Matt Clark. They sit nice and flat, so he doesn't have to move.
Game shot the
That's exactly how you do the 120
Worley.
finish.
Michelle, 170.
So prolific on the treble 20 betters, Worley today. Oh, this would be special. This would be incredible. He was chattering away, thinking, I want the big fish, and look at that reaction. Where's the crowd, he's saying? Absolutely outstanding dart, and the first time we've seen this week the big fish. It was a bit of everything. What a dart that is. And what a finish that is from Michel Vanderhoof. He has been superb today. 4 wins from 4. John Worsley asked him an awful lot of questions there. But it's Michel Vanderhoof who sprints off the stage there. It's John Worsley with a higher average of 86.79. But Michel Vanderhoof, that 170 finish being the real delight. He remains unbeaten, and all players have now played 4 out of their 5 games. So playing their final games up next, it's Bram van Dijk against Colin Mcgarry.
I remember listening to an interview you did, and you said about how important it is not to worry about 1-2-1 up, but in around that 50, 60, 70.
However, it's a 110 that bails out Colin
Mcgarry.
And that is a real sickener to Bram van Dijk. He was already walking to the hockey there. For the match.
67. Colin requires 64.
Had 1 match start to pick up his first 2 points of the day. Colin is going to get 1 at tops to save it.
24. Bram, you require 40.
To beat. This is why you put the hours of practice in for moments like this. And it's Bam Bam from Bam.
Bram van Dijk.
Excellent darts in the end. He saves his best till the very end, and look at the bounce on his step there. He gets his first 2 points of the Modus Super Series, and he is absolutely delighted. Forget the numbers he'd be saying. I've got 2 points, and I can go away a much happier man. But for Colin Mcgarry, wars on the doubles. They will hurt. They will sting. Can he bounce back tomorrow? Big game coming up next. It's John Worsley against Neil Duff.
And that's followed by the final. The winner taking away £5,000 and a place in Champions Week, but they have the opportunity to win £20,000.
And with darts like that, he would have every chance of winning the week. We have been spoilt rotten with big finishes today. We've already seen a 160 from John Worsley today.
Neil to throw first.
We've seen 170s, 156s.
Been some performance. Double 18 to give us. It would have given us our first ton-topping average.
Game shot out.
Finds the double 9, and it is a ton-topper.
100.08
for John Worsley. And a lovely 158 in there. And Neil Duff, 86.36 on the average. 2 out of 2 on the doubles. And for the second time today, John Worsley completes a match in 4 from 6 for 66.67% on the doubles. So he ends his day on a real high. Our final game is Matt Clark against Michel Vanderhoof.
I should be off this stage by now. I think it'd just be focused on this leg of dart, and that's one of Matt Clark's real strengths, whereas Michel will be thinking, I should be off the stage now with 8 points.
Whoa,
I'm still in the running, so let me darts fly.
Yeah, Matt Clark's strength, he just doesn't get emotionally invested. Just remains stoic. And again, that's another attribute that makes him incredibly hard to beat.
100.
For aspiring dart players, just look at the concentration as Matt Clark throws a dart. Hey, steady on, Michel, steady on.
180.
Giving us a 170. Is he going to give us a 9-darter?
$100. Michelle, you require 141.
Well, it's been an incredible day for Michelle Vanderhoof. And this could be something absolutely sensational.
117. Matt, you require 161.
Couldn't have been any closer.
Wow.
Superb effort, and it's come from absolutely nowhere.
43.
And
Michelle,
not
you
a
require
hint of reaction from
24.
either player. What a
Game
beautiful
shot, the
leg of
fifth
darts,
leg.
Michelle Vanderhoof.
Michelle Vanderhoof.
No doubt you'll be watching this leg back. That was so impressive. And that incredible highest ever average seen on that stage.
100.
But I don't know, there would just been something special because I know Michelle going back and the fact that he's absolutely flying today, that would have been a really magic moment here at the Motor Super Series.
Would have been the icing on the cake, wouldn't it? Matt Clark, 2 visits to get this done. I need them.
Just love the fact there's no reaction, and that for me is one of the reasons why the second dart goes in the treble.
Yeah, that's the real.
No throwing your arms about, no sulking. Real credit to him.
Yeah, it's one of his strengths.
99. Matt, you require 80.
Double 20, double 10. 20 tops to finishing off. Maybe not a decent day in terms of results, but Matt Clark's played very well at times today. And gets the job done this time.
Matt Clark.
To inflict the first defeat today for Michelle Vanderhoof. Up to that point, he was 4 from 4, but what a fabulous effort that was on the 9-darter. The average is there, slightly higher than Matt Clark's, 87.53. D4, 180, didn't there? 3 to Michelle, 1 to Matt Clark. But finishing there from Matt, 4 from 8, 50%. Much more efficient. So it is John Worley who will lead overnight ahead of Michelle. Matt Clark sat in 3rd spot, Duff in 4th, Bram in 5th, and surprisingly, at the foot of the table, it's Colin McGarry. Well, Glenn has joined Henry on stage, and we'll just have a quick reflection on today's action.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mace. Yeah, Glenn joining me up here on stage now. Michelle, such a good day. Look, defeating the last game, but look, let's take the positive out today. He came into this as one of the outsiders. He won his first 4 and was convincing in those games as well.
Yeah, he's had a good day. Michelle Vanderhoof is a guy who was probably his best was around about 2016. It'd be interesting to see what he's been doing the past couple of years, but that's what the Motor Super Series done. He's had his time here in June last year. He's come today, didn't get the headlines, was no favouritism, 4 out of 4, and then we nearly had that incredible magic moment. A great day for the Dutchman.
And he came off stage just a couple of moments ago, and he was going like that, because it was that close to the 9, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was it. Well, I thought it was in. You know, it was just an incredible moment. You get some fantastic moments sat there, and it sort of came from nowhere, the 170, and then the 9-darter was just, I mean, it couldn't have been any closer.
And we saw this at points, didn't we, the last time he was here, that there was magic moments, wasn't there, at points from him, and he showed that again today, but in a more consistent spells.
Like I said, he's played at Lakeside, he's played at the Grand Slam, it's no shock. And like I said to Mace, sort of joking aside, I played on a floor event once and he went something like 10, 11 and 12. So he's a great talent. Like I said, he's always dressed that way. When you go to play him, you think he's a non-dart player, etc. And, you know, you can get your dreams back when you're playing this stage. Massive prizes out there right now. And he's put himself in a fantastic position of topping the group.
Most definitely has. So this is what we've seen then so far today. 15 games have come and gone. And it's been an intriguing day, hasn't it? It was a group that we thought maybe would slide one way and then the other. And it kind of proved to be the case, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think there'll be a couple of disappointed players. And I think both of them are from Northern Ireland. I think Colin McGarry will be disappointed because he is a brilliant player, Colin McGarry. He was the guy who I thought was had a real good chance of getting there. Neil Duff will be somebody who is probably thinking his game is there, but just hasn't delivered. But I think the rest of them, young Bram got his win under the belt. He'll come back really chipper tomorrow. And I think the other top three put a real stellar performances in.
Well, the performer of the day was John Worley in the end. Averages in excess of 90 pretty much every game. Then he had that ton-plus average to finish. Now, we thought that he could be a player. If he had enough there in the tank, he'd be able to do some good stuff. It was proof in the pudding, most definitely there.
Henry, his scoring was as good as I've seen sat in that chair. His scoring was fantastic. If he can put his doubles together. And remember, I asked him at the beginning of the day, you know, how's the form? He said, I'm not practicing, Glenn. I've got a pub now and I've come here. And I thought maybe he'll play himself into form. And then to see him favourite, that was a surprise to me. But boy, was I wrong? Was he wrong? He was brilliant today.
How good was the 158?
Look, the 170, 160, 158, 156, there was a real masterclass of finishing. The problems is when people had like the 2-dart finishes or 3 darts in the hand going for a double there. That was an area that could improve, but some of the high-class finishing today was top draw.
It most certainly was. You mentioned Neil Duff there. He'll be disappointed with the day as a whole. There was glimpses, there were signs, but not quite the results that he would want.
At times, when he gets the component right, he has this unique style of moving over to the left-hand side. His body moves to the left, and when everything was in sync, you know, he looked really good. So if he looks at it quite positively, I think he'll think the game's not too far away. It's only Monday. There's still a long way to go. As Mace said in his opening line, it's a marathon, not a sprint. So Neil Duff shouldn't be too dejected, but knowing him like I do, I think he could bounce back tomorrow, move in Tuesday for a reason.
What would be your overall assessment of Colin McGarry's first day here?
Extremely disappointed because I'm a huge fan. And that huge fan is based on the fact that I think he's got a wonderful throw. I think he stands there. For me, put your Northern Ireland shirt on, Colin, because every time I've played him or seen him play, you know, he's produced some of his best out with his national colours on. He's a much better player than he produced today.
Well, let's have a look and see what the table is saying and following the conclusion of the first day's worth of fixtures. And I also want to talk about Bram van Dijk, the Dutch player, the qualifier through the ADC, a player that I think as the day went along, we saw a lot more positive signs from.
Yeah, I've got to say thank you to Brian Roman as well, who's been feeding me information today, which has been great about him. And he played with a smile on his face, a lot of rhythm in his throw, so he does the fundamentals right. Long way to go. It's just he's in his infancy of his journey. That last win was a big win for him.
It most certainly was. And as you saw there, Vanderhoof, Worley both on it. But Matt Clark on 6 points. And look, we know what he does here at the Super Series.
I thought he was great. I thought he was great. He just does what Matt Clark does, doesn't he? He's just his pace. Every dart is the same. He does so many things so right. He loves it here. He knows how to win here. He's still got a big part to play this week.
Are we expecting a couple of players to make moves on Tuesday, in particular Neil Duff?
Yeah, I would say Neil Duff. The top three are going to be very happy. The top three will be thinking, I can come through this group now. However, I think the one player who will be a little disappointed who can still top the group is Neil Duff.
Well, it's been quite the Monday, hasn't it, Glenn?
Excellent, competitive, all to play for.
Enjoyed sitting in the commentary box again?
Absolutely, yeah. That's my happy place these days, but this stage is fantastic. This is where people want to play, and that's why we stay fantastic darts. I've got no bitter memories of being here. It is what it is, but yeah, I'm in my happy place in there and looking forward to a fantastic rest of the week.
Just remember, Chris Mason's the only commentator to have won on this particular stage. Glenn, thank you for your company. I shall see you tomorrow, and we'll see you tomorrow. 9:30, we're on Sporty Stuff TV and on the Modus Super Series YouTube channel to see what happens on day 2 of Group A here in Week 8, where Michelle and John, well, they tie the lead, and Matt Clark doing what he does at the Super Series, keeping himself in the mix. Bye for now.